My eyes just kind of froze, or my tongue just froze a little bit. Welcome to another episode of the Tina Parker Show. This is WTFU Daily. This is our faith message for the ladies. Okay, I'm here for you. I want you to know that you might have been playing small, and this is your calling. This is your wake-up call to stop playing, thinking small. Okay, you were created to govern. We're going to dive into this today. Oh, this is good. Come in. If you know another woman that needs to hear real faith, not religious faith, I'm talking we're walking with God before religion got involved. All right, ladies? Come in and share this with someone that you believe needs to hear this. Many women today feel lost. All right, is that you? Maybe you know someone. Exhausted and unsure of themselves, especially mothers who've spent years in survival mode. In today's WTF Daily Faith Message, we return to the beginning. This is Genesis 1:27, the scripture, to uncover a truth that's been buried under guilt, burnout, and religious misunderstanding. The Hebrew root word for image does not mean appearance. It means representation and authority. All right? You were not created to shrink, disappear, or merely just get through life. You were created to steward, like a leader. Okay, I want you to think about the best top leaders in there. They put their pants on the same way we do. Okay, and this is why we're talking about this today. Leadership, okay, steward, lead, and govern with clarity, starting with your own life, home, and decisions. Think about your children. Think about who you imagine them to grow up to be. Think about your children, okay? Because sometimes it's really hard to put us there. But ladies, you know that we think our children are amazing. And we build them up like they are the most powerful, confident humans in the world, right? And we hope that they grow up to be just like that. Okay, we see them becoming and doing things that they don't see in themselves yet. Okay, I want you to think about your children because that is you as well. So it makes me just want to shake women, shake them, shake it till they wake up, that they know that feeling and that you see in your children, that is in you. But for some reason, society, religious culture, media, all of the education system, business, I don't care what it is, okay? They have warped your brain to all of a sudden think that you are not that you are not powerful like the way you see your children. But you are. So I'm here to wake you up a little bit, shake you up, okay? You were not created to shrink, disappear, or merely just get through life, okay? You were created to steward, lead, and govern with clarity, starting with your own life, home, and decisions. This episode will help you reclaim your identity, rebuild your confidence without arrogance. I'm not saying be arrogant, but you can walk with confidence, okay? Knowing you already have this power. You were uniquely created in the image of God, in Yahweh. Think about that. That's powerful. You are a creator yourself. So to bow down or shrink or believe that you are nothing less of that is saddening. It's like we can't have that. We need to rise us ladies up. Come on. You were born to be a creator. That means you are so powerful. You can have anything, you can create anything you want. That's how you see your kids, right? I remember my mom telling me, you can do anything you want. We didn't we didn't go to religious church or anything like that, okay? We kind of were independent thinkers, free thinking. And my mom and dad were they just thought we were incredible. I mean, they just thought we could do anything. And even though my grades looked horrible, like you'd look at my profile and say, this girl is going to be raised on welfare, be part of the system, be dependent on, not mount to anything. But yet my mom kept saying, you can do anything. She would just totally like pour that into me. It's crazy. All right. So don't look at what society says you are, because you are a creator. And when you see these leaders and when you see these movie stars and when you see all these people doing great things, know that they put their pants on the same way you do every day. Okay? Stop resenting responsibility and start owning it. Understand why exhaustion is not holiness. Remember who you are and who you were designed to be. This is faith without manipulation, clarity without guilt, and confidence rooted in truth. And don't forget to subscribe to WTFU Daily, and it's Tina Parker TV. All right, and share this with a woman who has also forgotten who she is. All right, this message is for the woman who feels lost, the woman who feels smaller than she used to be. Maybe you used to feel on top of the world, but sometimes life can knock us down like a nail, in a piece of wood. And we just get knocked down, and all of a sudden we forget. We lost our footing, And I'm here to let you know that you can pull yourself back out of that and do incredible things, okay? Do not ever forget that. And if you need a reminder, you come back to me and I'll tell you again, okay? This is the woman who's been holding everything together and quietly wondering where she went. Okay, today's truth is not motivational. This is foundational. This is truth. This is based on what Yahweh says. This message is from Yahweh. And if you don't know who Yahweh is, it's God. God is a title. Yahweh is his real name. We've been misinformed. Okay. Here's the scripture again that we're basing this message on, and that is God created the human in his image. And that is Genesis 1:27. This verse has been quoted for centuries, but it is rarely explained correctly. The Hebrew word used here is tzelem. Tzelem. And this is critical. Tzelem does not mean appearance. Doesn't mean how you look. If you don't have all the, designer clothes, then the people that you see that you believe are movie stars and rock stars and everything, okay? It's not about the appearance. It's not because you don't have the extensions. It's not because you don't, you know what I mean? It's not about appearance. It does not mean physical resemblance, okay? This means representation, delegated authority, governance, okay? And I'm going to dig deeper in that because I want the modern woman today to understand how that message, how these words, representation, delegated authority, and governance, how that fits in our life, okay? In ancient times, a king would place tzelem, his image, in a territory to signify rule and responsibility. Think about a king and how he shows up, okay? He's bold, he's confident. He knows that he was created in the image of God. Okay, so when a scripture says you were created in God's image, it is not talking about your look. It is talking about what you carry inside you. Get it? Okay, what you were made of. The truth many women were never taught. They didn't teach this in church. When I went to church, I didn't hear this message. Did you? Okay, you were not created to shrink. You were not created to disappear inside duty. You were not created to live reactive, exhausted, and apologetic. You were created to represent order, clarity, and responsibility. But first, before anyone else's, on your life, responsibility in your own life first. That means the woman that is exhausted because she is just given and given and given to everyone else, and she is exhausted inside. The idea of pouring into herself, the energy's gone. Okay, she's exhausted. She's like, do you know what I've done today? Okay, I made lunches. I got these kids up. I got their hair done. I did this. I did that. I went to work. I did this for my husband. I made the bed. You know what I mean? You do all these things, and before you know it, like, you're empty. And what did you get to do for you? Okay, you pour into yourself first. You make that a requirement. It is part of your discipline. Just like getting your daughter's or your son's hair done. You know, you comb it and you want him to look good for school because he's representing you and your family, right? Okay, you got to do the same for you. So you've got to find time to wake up. Even if you go to bed an hour early, you wake up early and you get to the gym and you pour into yourself. You meditate, you do yoga, you hydrate, you move your body. But you make sure you do that before you pour into anyone else, okay? That doesn't mean denomination. It means stewardship. You are a leader. Think about leaders of the country, leaders of, of any big business, okay? The leaders I worked with in corporate banking, I worked with this woman and I thought she was so incredible. I wanted to learn so much more about her. She was a mom and she was the vice president. At this time, I was a branch manager. She was a vice president of the bank. And she was just blonde, petite, and I looked up to her because I was like, how did she get to where she is? And she was a mom and she had all these kids too, and a husband. And I just thought, how did she do all this? But in my mind, I was thinking, well, she probably got really good grades and she da-da-da-da-da. And I just wanted to learn as much as I could about her. Her name is Becky Sorensen. If you see this, I'm talking about you. Okay, one day I became I ended up becoming a vice president. But before that, I learned everything I could about her. I watched her move. I haven't told this story. Maybe I did it years ago. But I would learn what she did every day. So she still had her kids. She had a husband, but she went running. She ran every day. Every single day she exercised. And I thought, God, that's so incredible. Like, that's why she has such a fit body. And then as a manager, I was getting promotions and I was like a top salesperson, right? I was a top producer. And so they would take me to these personal lunches, where they would recognize my hard work. And I would watch what she would order at the restaurant. I remember going to Olive Garden. I thought, what is she going to order here? I want to know. And she ordered something that wasn't even on the menu. She asked for, it was kind of like a kid's meal. She asked for a piece of chicken and some broccoli. And maybe something else. Maybe the sides, they give you the salad. But I remember she just had the grilled chicken and broccoli. And this was at Olive Garden, Italian restaurant. But she found ways to eat right that she knew would fuel her body properly. And she could stay fueled and fit and not eat all the junk processed stuff that was on that menu. So I learned a lot from Becky. She doesn't know this. One day I'm going to let her know. But people that you admire, learn from them, watch them, how they walk, how they move, what they do. And you'll see what I'm telling you. These leaders are pouring into themselves first. They're making sure they get their time because she wouldn't have been able to do all that she did at the bank. Lead all these branches and make decisions for the credit union, for the people, for the clients, the members. She wouldn't be able to be that strong woman if she didn't pour into herself and build her own confidence and her own trust in herself. This is why it's so important, okay? I have a lot of folks that I've watched and learned from, and Not any of them pour into everyone else but themselves. None of them. They are selfish. Okay? And I want you to be selfish too. Okay? You were created to represent order, clarity, and responsibility first in your own life. I had to make sure to say that again. It doesn't mean domination, it's stewardship. That is leadership. That's what that word means, stewardship, okay? And stewardship requires confidence. There's no leader out there that's not confident, okay? And there's things that they've done to ensure they are confident. They got that position because they're confident, okay? So here's where this lands for women today. Your identity is not formed by approval, survival mode, exhaustion, how much you sacrifice, how quiet you stay. Even in the demanding seasons, you are not just getting through life, okay? You are governing it. You are overseeing it. Pretend that you are the leader of a country, okay? But the country is your house and your family, okay? You want to make sure everything is in order, but it starts with you. And they're not going to respect you, honey, unless you do the things that they will look up to you for. So think of a mom that's exhausted. She's telling her kids they've got to do all these things, right? But she's not even doing it herself. Okay? Over time, as your kids get older, they're watching that. And they're going, why are you bossing me around, telling me to do all these things, telling me to get good grades, telling me to, do my best in dance or soccer or baseball or football, whatever the sport is, okay? You're telling me I need to do my best, and you're not even doing your best for yourself. It looks pretty hypocritical, right? You got to do that. People are watching, and those little kids are watching from a young age. Every decision you make, every boundary you hold, every truth you face instead of avoid. Confidence grows when you remember responsibility is not punishment, it is proof of trust. And I'm going to tell you something. When you start doing these things and you create these disciplines in your life, it is freeing. So you think it's going to be taxing on you. No, it's not. It is so freeing because when you have these disciplines and this self-respect for yourself, you know what happens? You can easily say no to things. It's amazing. You're like, no, I don't do that. Nope, I'm going to the gym tomorrow. Nope, I don't want to go get trashed. Nope, I don't want to eat that shit. Nope, I don't want to, spend time around these people. Okay, they're not my people. Whatever it is, if it doesn't fit in your life, it's not in alignment anymore. Because if your friends aren't growing, you're not growing. And sometimes, unless you separate yourself from them, that's when you can start to create your own path, okay? Why confidence has been attacked. They've intentionally. If you look at every industry, and if they say, it's okay to do this, go see a therapist, get on this medication, all these things, they have intentionally trying to numb women. A woman who knows she carries authority, she thinks clearer, she doesn't need permission, she doesn't collapse under pressure, she doesn't outsource her discernment, so confidence can be reframed. That's why confidence can be reframed as arrogance. And I mentioned on another show, my family, the Parker family, we had people that would tell us that we were cocky, arrogant, all these things. But that was because they admired our confidence, to be honest with you. They were like, why are they so freaking sure of themselves? And instead of saying, oh, I want to get more of what you have. I love your confidence. Some people will tear you down because it's like a mirror. It's like shining. That confidence is shining and it's hurting their eyes. It's polarizing almost. But we knew, we're not, cocky, arrogant. We're just confident. We just know what we know. Okay? You don't outsource your discernment. Okay? You know within, because you have that power. You were given that gift. But if you're missing it, it means you might be numb. Okay, you might be listening to the wrong people. All right, so confidence had to be reframed as arrogance. Authority had to be reframed as rebellion. Ooh, she's a rebel. That's right, I'm a rebel. And exhaustion had to be reframed as virtue. But Yahweh never designed women to resent what they were entrusted with. He designed them to steward it with clarity. Here's an example, okay? Here's a simple question that you can ask yourself today. Where have I been shrinking when I was meant to lead? Not louder, not harder, just clear, okay? And before I end this, let's talk a little, what did that message say? Oh. Okay, I wanted to get some more clarity for you guys and what it looks like in life, okay? The tzelem actually meant in simple terms, okay? In ancient times, king didn't personally stand in every part of his kingdom. So he placed his tzelem, his image or seal, in different territories. So what that meant is the king's authority is active here. So wherever he was, or maybe he wasn't, but his authority was active. Order is expected here because he had that image, that power about him, that order was expected in areas. Maybe he wasn't even standing there, but he had already set the tone, okay? This area is under stewardship, not chaos. The image wasn't decoration, it was responsibility and authority. So here's what this means for today's modern women. I always like to give it, kind of tie it to modern women because it's hard. For me, I struggled with understanding the Bible and understanding how it applies to my life today. And so if I did, maybe others do as well, okay? So when the scripture says you were created in God's tzelem, it means you are not meant to disappear in your life. You are meant to represent order, clarity, and responsibility wherever you are placed, whether it's in the workplace, maybe it's in your home, maybe it's at the gym, in all areas of your life, okay? And let's make this real. Here's an example in the home. A woman living in tzelem does not react emotionally to every crisis, carry resentment while over-functioning. So that means you're overdoing for everything, and then you're carrying this resentment, this bitterness inside. Okay, it doesn't work together. Okay, that's going to make you sick and hold on to fat. And people are not going to want to be around you, okay? And I think resentment is like a disease because honestly, you can feel it in your body. And when you can feel that resentment in your body, that resentment can lead to disease, just so you know. Okay, so it like feeds disease. So you don't want resentment. So if there's someone you need to forgive them because you're not doing it for them, okay? If they did something so bad and you can't forgive them, you're doing it for you, okay? You want to be in the best health, the best mind, the best everything. And you can't do that or be that if you're carrying resentment, okay? A woman living in this is not confused by exhaustion with virtue. Allow chaos just because it's motherhood. Some women just think, oh, you've seen those women, right? They just think this is just part of motherhood. No, you put that in your brain. Like someone told you that. It doesn't have to be like that. If you're exhausted, one thing I learned years ago is, like, I used to be kind of OCD. Like, this has to be done. This bed has to be made. Like I was pretty OCD about things, like things out of order, okay? And I could feel that in my chest, seriously. And I learned, don't sweat the small things. If it's not going to worry in a year from now, let it go, okay? We can work on it later. Hire it out. Hire someone, hire a cleaning company to come take care of your house, you know, once a week, once every other week, something like that. It's not going to kill you, okay? But I like a clean house. I like everything in order. So I get that. But I'm saying don't let it allow you to carry resentment. And if it comes to, I got to clean these toilets versus you need to get to the gym, go to the gym, okay? Go get a workout in. Okay, the toilets can wait. Whatever it is, just remember you got to take care of you, and it'll blow you away how it will change your life, not just physically, mentally, spiritually, and it will help you get rid of any resentment. Okay, confused exhaustion. Oh, allowed chaos because that's just motherhood. That's where I ended up. Yeah, no, it's not. Someone's told you that. Instead, she shows up as, this is how you want to show up, calm leadership, clear boundaries, consistent routines. My kids know exactly what I'm going to be doing. And they've known this for the past 12, 13 years, even longer than that. Even before I started working out, okay? I still would get up. I'd do the same thing every day. Get them to school, get ready. I got up the same time every day. Like, they knew my routine. And when you know your routine and you have a set routine, your life feels so less chaotic. I say no to so much because it doesn't align with my life. All right, so clear boundaries, consistent routines, and thoughtful decisions. Not because she's controlling, but because she creates order. Or order creates her safety. Okay, that's governance. Okay, that's governance. Here's a example two. In her own life, a woman living in Tizelm does not abandon her health, ignore her finances, numb herself to survive, wait to be rescued. She understands, if I've been entrusted with this body, mind, and life, I am responsible for how it's stewarded. I am responsible for the leadership. Okay, so she takes care of her body. She learns how money works. Guys, I came from the banking side. If there's anything I can ever do to help you, let me know. She faces truth instead of avoiding it, and she makes decisions instead of postponing them. It's not selfish, okay? It's stewardship. Here's an example in work or business. A woman living in Tizelm does not shrink to keep others comfortable, say yes out of guilt, avoid growth because it's intimidating. It is going to be intimidating. It's going to be a little uncomfortable in the beginning. But guess what? You get better. You just keep pushing through that uncomfort, and pretty soon you'll get obsessed. You'll love it. Do it till you love it, okay? And I tell you, it's kind of like leg day, all right? For so long, I hated leg day, and then I began to love it. All right? She asks good questions. She thinks critically. Chooses integrity over approval. Builds skill builds skill and competence, okay? She doesn't need permission to lead well. She acts responsibly where she's been placed. That's governance, okay? Here's one more example in faith. A woman living in Tizelum does not outsource discernment to institutions, obey without understanding. How many of us have had these examples and we're like, oh, I didn't even understand and I just obeyed. I outsourced my discernment to these institutions and I didn't know if they wanted the best for me. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Stay silent when truth is required. Okay, confuse fear with humility. What she does do is she walks with Yahweh personally. Sometimes you don't know who to trust, right? You trust Yahweh, God, the Creator, and you walk with Him personally. You think deeper, listens, tests, and discerns, lives truth in action, not performance, and faith becomes alignment, not compliance. There's days that I'm like, okay, and then I have to go back to what Yahweh wants or expects out of me, not all these people, okay? The shift that changes everything. Here's the reframe a modern woman needs. You are not here to shrink, endure quietly, survive until it's over. How many people are like, I'm just going to get through this. I'll just survive forever. Don't live life like that. That is no fun. Okay, I'm here to have fun, and he expects us to have some fun too. Okay, he expects us to be a leader, to be confident, and to have some fun. You are here to bring order where there is confusion. Steward what's been entrusted in you. Lead with clarity, not force, and represent truth through action. This is what Tzelem looks like today. That's what the kings did, okay? And that's what it looks like today. In one sentence, you can remember, you were placed where you are to bring order and not absorb chaos. If there's chaos, you can just walk away. You can check out of a conversation. You can disengage. That's how a modern woman shows up as image bearer, not background character. I hope that helps. I hope that adds some clarity to who you are and who God, Yahweh, our creator, created you to be, just like him. You are a creator. We are creators. And when you know that you're a creator, every day you can wake up grateful. Like, I can't even believe I'm breathing again. Oh my gosh. I don't care where you are in your life. If you woke up, that's a reason to be grateful. Okay? And I just have to say, thank you all for joining my show. And yesterday, again, I forgot to kind of go through here. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for joining. How you read, reading books, you read human body. You get results, predictions, calculated, not even. That's great. Hello, hello. Tina, Will Outlook. Everyone, her prime era. Love that. Thank you. Joshua is kidding. Thanks for being here. Thank you. We are the light of our Messiah. That's another word they use for God, for Yahweh, is Messiah, huh? Happy Sabbath day. Is it Sunday where you are? Thank you all for joining. I appreciate you all for coming. If there's someone that you think needs to hear this message, you look at them and you see them living in chaos. You look at them and you see them suffering or in survival mode or just surviving through motherhood. Send her this message, okay? It's going to remind her who she really is and how she can make some tweaks in her life and become the best version, happy soul that she deserves to be. All right? Have a great day.